gonna be a really interesting one. It's a BMW surprise mechanism built in the car. So whenever you work on it, you always find more shit broken. So this is kind of the end of the day. I just want to record the progress. I didn't record. I'm fucking cleaning this thing because I was cleaning it mostly all day long. So yeah, I took my box out and all this crap, and yeah, it was that gunky all over there. So I cleaned that off. Yeah, my problem is they gave me 3 wires, dude. They all black, right? And now the only way I'm gonna be able to rewire it to this old one, right, is that if I take that rubber off and then I see if I could put it this way, the same way, and if the cables are in order, I would have to wire it in that way, and then I should be fine. You know, this hose was fucked, and I figured, you know, it's supposed to be the same diameter as this one, but now I figured why it's like this. No, not just the mounting surface. I mean, like, why is the hose is like blow up over there? It's because look, this adapter in between the hoses over there. So basically, this hose comes up from here, right? Comes up from there. Then you have the adapter sitting in it, right? It sits like that, and then basically it goes into this, right? So it's just a connection to that main hose structure with the coolant. But what I noticed, I don't know if you guys can see it, and I just have to cut it. Right there, and see if that's gonna solve the problem. But I have to get that plastic shit out first. You know, change my coolant hose, changed some fuel hoses, and I'm gonna reinstall that oil filter housing. I just wipe it off a bit more, and I was thinking to change this gasket, but I didn't change it since it's not leaking, and it's easy to change anyways, even if it's on the car. So I changed the oil filter housing gasket, and I actually took off my power steering from that bracket thing. And just a quick snap. So you know, people tell me to take this shit off and clean it and vacuum it and all kinds of sort of shit, right? But why do I always have like dead bugs? Fuck. Like, really? And I'm like coming to the front, you know. I put back my alternator, I put back the pulley. What else I put back? The power steering pump. So yeah, I came to the front and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put back the serpentine belt right now. And I'm like, nope. Okay, look at that coolant hose. Look at the front of the block, dude, underneath there. I'm like, oh shit. So yeah. Alright, y'all. So I'm back for a bit with the car. I don't know much yesterday. I know it looks stupid, the ignition coils hanging like that, but I'm just lazy, like, to fucking disconnect them. But to get back to the car, I started yesterday taking out the spark plugs, and as you guys see, of course I had the valve cover gasket leak with the spark plugs as well. But what I want to show you, I just put some paper towels in there to suck out the oil, because they were, like, you know, filled up with oil all the way on the top. What's up, dude? You can be in without, bro. Yes. So what I did basically is putting paper towel on this, putting some painter's tape on it, and just go in a spark plug hole like that, so you can clean it out pretty perfectly. I want to see some torque specs on these. I mean, honestly, just a couple of them were like tight like that. Well, shit on my hands when I touch my tools, dude. That's kind of my OCD. I don't like tools being oily at work. So I think one of them has still oil on it. Still does quite a lot, dude. The other one is pretty okay. I don't know if you guys can see it. This camera, dude. I hope you guys are flying and shit. I don't know. Can you guys see it? Yeah, it still has some oil sitting on it. The other one should be pretty good, because that one isn't much. So another OCD right now. not that dirty though. I mean, this this engine has 270k on it. I would say it's pretty good, dude. It's not like super gunky. Is that supposed to be that tight, dude? I know it's not a breaker bar. My breaker bar isn't much longer than this. These two have some oil deposits on them, definitely. These two were leaking the most. If you look at it, these spark plugs leaked out the most fluid. The fifth one was the worst. Then the sixth one as well. Then these were like okay, but even this one you can see a lot of deposits. But I got the same part number spark plugs. I'm back to the Beamer a bit later today. I'm gonna install the spark plugs. I looked it up in the Bentley's manual how to do it, and basically they said put some oil on the bottom of it, 22 foot-pounds, and we don't have to get them on the 525 Beamers, so they are not adjustable. So it's not too messy job in the way of sense. Plus, you know, for me it's easier because I have the valve cover off as well. I would say probably a good idea to do this is put it on the middle and a bit wiping it around with your finger. And try not to get it on the bottom. And then you want to hand tighten it because you don't want to cross thread the head, because then it's just going to be a pain in the butt process to do after. And if you're not planning a whole engine rebuild, you know, you don't want to do that. That's 22 foot-pounds. I'm back. So next thing we're gonna do is gonna be my valve cover gasket. Let's test with it first. Hey, bro. Am I stupid or what? Dude. It's not the right fucking gasket. That's great. Well, and I guess probably where I could fuck up on my part is maybe I ordered a Venus gasket instead of a non-Venus for my engine, but that's a rest in peace, dude. Well, then I don't think I do well cover today. That's a big rest in peace, dude. You know, I started working on this car the first time I ever worked on a BMW with this one, and two things I learned about this car, like not pretty quick but throughout as I worked on it. It actually has, even if you have a 525 like I do, that one actually has two engine sequences. I'm not sure if it's because of Venus, I didn't do the research yet, but for the some engine parts it's gonna ask you if it's before 92 September or after 92 September. So I got the other gasket. Well, they well, it's much more rubbery than Then the Victor Reigns one, Eagle, L-ring, yeah. So yeah, fucking damn it, okay. And what happens over the time, because you have the heat cycles, this rubber gonna get much more plasticky, gets brittle, and stays flattened out. So what I mean by that, or not stays flattened out, but flattens out and stays that way over the time. And what happens is the clamping force on your valve cover is gonna decrease, so it's gonna start leaking out oil. Jumped into the deep in a real sense with it. But I mean, you know, these gaskets are not the BMW ones, because the original BMW had gasket. Valve cover gasket is 50 bucks, while these ones were about like 15 and 20 bucks total. So I have a buddy, probably he can use that gasket, so I'm gonna just give it to him.